Cameron Bunting, and I'm presenting to you the differences between two legends. So getting into this, I just really want to break down the differences between these two cameras because there's many different components that has to do with these two cameras and very important things that have huge differences. And so I'm going to really break that down for you guys. A lot of photographers today have a debate with themselves of which camera is better and which camera they should take to a photo shoot and which one really ultimately has better value. So I ask you guys, when you're taking a photo, when you have your phone and you're taking a photo, do you like shooting a photo with a filter on it, or do you like just like the raw format? And using with that, you can really decide of which one is more your style, like which one you would progress if you were to be a photographer, choosing between film or digital. I'm a photographer, and this is something that I actually struggle with all the time, with deciding which camera I'm going to take to my next photo shoot and which one is a lot more convenient, I'd say. So with that, I'm going to be breaking down the style, the differences in style, convenience, and accuracy. So let's get into style. So right off the bat, we got color. So when it comes to color, the thing with film is very prominent in strong colors. So when I'm taking a photo on film, when you develop the photo, it's going to be, a lot of colors are going to pop better. So on film, colors have a lot more saturation. The saturation is more brought about, and it's got like an organic grain. Whereas with a digital camera, a digital shot is going to be, it's gonna have neutral colors. It's gonna be just like, if I'm taking a picture of this wall, it's just gonna look like that. But whereas if I'm taking with film, it's gonna pop out some colors because it's got that vintage look to it because it is film. A head editor for Photo Magazine, Natalie Carrasco, says that film accentuates the color and organic grain, like I said, because it is a roll of film, and there's different rolls of film that you can shoot on to get like different colors. So if you want to shoot on, like, examples, like if you shoot on Kodachrome, you're gonna get there's gonna be like a pink haze to it. If you're shooting with Fuji, you're gonna get a green haze. And she also mentions that digital has a super clear. Digital is it's a modern camera, so it's gonna have a very clear shot. It focuses more on clarity than film does. And that brings me to my next point: vintage versus modern. So film is a vintage camera, or shooting film on a film camera is vintage. So you're gonna get vintage techniques. It's gonna have that vintage color, and it's gonna have that vintage vibe to it because you are shooting on a roll of film. Whereas with digital, you're shooting on a media chip, and it's gonna just, like I said, it's a modern look. It's gonna be very clear. When it comes to quality, here's the huge thing with quality is when shooting on film, you don't know what your photo's gonna look like right away. With digital, you can take a picture and then you can review it. With film, once the roll of film is done, you have to develop it, and then you see what your film looks like. And that actually then brings me to convenience. When it comes to editing is huge with digital. There's little to no editing when it comes to a roll of film because it already has its own vibe. Like a lot of digital photographers nowadays, when they're shooting digital, they need to edit a lot more to get the film look, because the film look is kind of coming back nowadays, and the vintage look. With film, there's less editing to be done because it already looks good. It already has a significant change in like saturation, color, and exposure. And with digital, it's like I said, there's not enough pizzazz. You would have to go into like an editing, software like Lightroom or Photoshop to really bring all those colors together. And now that we're going to roll versus chip. Roll of film, you only have 36 exposures. So once you're done with the roll of 36, you have to take it out of the camera, take it into a developing store, send it off to a developer, and then you have to wait for it to come back to you. And it's a lot more expensive because every time you shoot a roll of 36, you have to buy another one, and then it also it adds up because after a roll of 36 shots, then you also have to pay somebody to develop the film. Digital, it's like I said, it's on a memory chip, it's on a card. So you just take it out of you can just take it out of your camera, throw it into a computer, and then download it. Author for an article called F-Stoppers, James Madison, says that digital in the long run is cheaper. Now, digital cameras nowadays are pretty expensive, especially if you're going for like a nice one and if you want to be a photographer. It's expensive right there, but in the long run it's cheaper because you're only buying just little microchips that you can shoot 1,000 photos. You can shoot as many photos as you want. And then, like I said, film in the long run can be more expensive, like I said, because after a roll of film, you gotta take it out, buy another roll of film, buy another roll of film. And then also there's only 36. With processing, when it comes to processing, you're downloading the chip, and then with film you actually have to wait for it to get developed. And that brings me to accuracy. Writer photographer Ali Kosef, digital. She says that digital manipulates the settings for you, and where with film you need to know your settings. You have to know your settings when you're getting into this field. You need to know your ISO, your aperture, and your shutter speed. And like I said, with digital, it has sensors in the camera that manipulates the settings to get that capture there, to capture that perfect photo. Battery, nothing too crazy about that. It's just with film, it doesn't show you what your battery's at, but with digital, it shows just like your smartphone. You can see what your camera is at. And then that brings me to advanced versus classic. Advanced, it's advanced because it's digital. Digital is advanced because it's more reliable. And classic film is classic because you're gonna get like that retro look with it. And that's kind of brings me to my conclusion here and my overview. So with this was shot on my film camera. If you notice, the colors are a lot more saturated, and with digital, it's kind of just like that raw format. You can see where her skin tones are a lot lighter and softer. And to cover for my speech, I covered the three main components for that, and that is the accuracy, the convenience,